You can pair Spine Gilman with Deep Sea Diva, as well as any of the other cards that you have to create a massive field of monsters. So you get it out with Deep Sea Diva, it boosts everything up by 400 attack, and then if you have a Legendary Ocean out, that's another 200 attack power that all your other water monsters receive, which means that your Spine Gilman can go up to 1900, and any of the other water monsters in your field get a 600 attack boost, so things can get pretty hairy pretty quickly. And the last card I'm running for monsters is going to be one copy of Amphibious Bugroth MK3. And the reason I have this in here is because that when you control Yuumi or a card designated as Yuumi, you can have this card perform a direct attack. One direct attack from Amphibious Bugroth, and that's one less strike that your opponent can activate. So that's it for the monsters. Now moving on to the spells and traps. To start off for spells, we have 3 copies of a Legendary Ocean. This is one of the main cards in the deck, and you have to have the card at 3. We have 3 of this and then 3 of the Searcher, which gets it out of the deck. Legendary Ocean basically decreases all water monsters in your hand and field by 1, and they all gain 200 attack. And its last effect allows it to be treated as Yuumi. So I believe this is the first field spell retrain, if I recall correctly. Which sort of paves the way for all these different other retrains which we've seen, such as Toon Kingdom, for instance, being a retrain of Toon World. But yeah, Legendary Ocean is a great card for things like Daedalus, or for things like if you have a Poseidra in hand or something like that. It allows you to much easierly get their levels down, so you can tribute summon them onto the field. Yeah, basically using your stuff. Then we have 2 copies of Aquajet. Aquajet's basically in here as a booster, so it allows you to boost any of the water monsters in your deck up by 1,000 attack power, which can help you get over quite a lot of things, actually. So it's really, really a cool card. Two copies of Moray of Greed. Moray of Greed is another really good card. Shuffle back your hands and stuff like that. And Mermail's actually started running this card very recently. I've actually have one of them in my new build, but it's a really, really good card for just fixing your dead hands. If you open up multiple of your high-level sea serpent / fish type monsters, and you want to just shuffle them back in your deck and see if you can get new stuff, it basically allows you to draw a fresh hand of the monsters you shuffled back +1. So it's kind of better than Magical Mallet or Reload in that sense, in that you don't really lose card economy, and you get to reshuffle your hand and draw new. One Big Wave Small Wave. Big Wave Small Wave is a big power player in the deck, letting you tribute any number of water monsters on your field to special summon an equal number of water monsters from your hand, regardless of the level. So if you have multiple, massive beaters in your hand or something like that, a couple of Daedaluses in there, and you have 2 water monsters on your field, activate Big Wave, Small Wave, destroy the 2 water monsters on your field, and then special summon your Daedaluses and your Poseidras and stuff from hand. Really a good way to get big, water monsters on your field fast. I'm thinking hopefully, they could make a retrain of this card that would allow you to also fetch monsters from your graveyard as well. That would be awesome, but we really have yet to see what's going to happen with this card. I hope they do something with it soon. One copy of Soul Exchange. Decided to put this in here just for the hell of it, and maybe I'll replace this with a copy of Stormforth or something like that, or run them in tandem. But when you have Legendary Ocean out and your Sea Serpent monsters' levels are decreased by 1, you can activate the effect of Soul Exchange and just basically get your monsters on the field very quickly by tributing your opponent's stuff. So, sometimes the deck will run into the problem where monsters get gotten rid of very quickly, and this helps to alleviate the issue. And the final thing is one Water Hazard. And if your opponent controls no monsters, you can special summon 1 water monster, level 4 or lower, from your hand. This just lets you field a big beater, and then if you want to, field a Cotorus or something like that, activate its effect, and then tribute it off to, destroy the rest of the things your opponent controls. Very cool card. That's it for the spells. Now, moving on to the traps. 2 copies of Temple of the Deep, Forgotten Temple of the Deep. This actually counts as a Yuumi and allows you to banish a level 4 lower fish or sea serpent type monster, and then during your end phase you can special summon that monster, banished by the effect. So it's kind of like Dimension Hole in a way, and lets you, dodge like some plays or something. 2 copies of Abyss Strom. This is actually a very good card. A lot of people have forgotten about its usefulness, and it can actually be searched by Abyss Megalo if you want it. Abyss Strom basically allows you to send 1 Yuumi you control to the graveyard and destroy, and then you send all spells and traps on the field to the graveyard. A lot of spells and traps rely on getting destroyed to get effects, such as like Metal Foe's Counter and Metal Foe's Combination. Basically, sending the stuff to the graveyard just gets around all of that stuff. And not to mention, this also is a way to get around Pendulum Scales as well, because this will just send all your opponent's Pendulum Scales to the graveyard. Pendulum Scales count as spell cards on the field, and if it's sent to the graveyard and not destroyed, they're not going to hit the extra deck, and they're just going to go to the graveyard. And this is something that surprised a couple of my opponents in the past, was just being able to activate an Abyss Strom and blow out an entire back row and prevent a Pendulum Summon. One copy of That Wacky Alchemy. You can actually use this with Abyss Strom or with some of the other destruction that you have in the deck. If a face-up spell card in your opponent's spell and trap card zone is sent to the graveyard, you can target 1 face-up monster on the field and destroy that target. And the funny thing about That Wacky Alchemy is that you can actually use it in response to just a normal spell card that's activated. So, like your opponent activates a Lure of Darkness or something with a monster on the field. Flip up That Wacky Alchemy, destroy that monster. Your opponent really won't see it coming, and it's just a very, very good kind of surprise card that I've really liked playing with. 1 copy of the Monarch's Awaken. There's no cards in this extra deck. I wanted to keep the deck pretty casual so I can run Monarch's Awaken, and basically it allows you to target a face-up tribute summon monster you control. Its effects are negated, and you make it unaffected by card effects other than this card. So, you can use this on either player's turn, and, just activate the effect of Daedalus, for instance, or something like that. And then if you have, a Poseidon on the field that you want to keep around, you just flip up Monarch Awaken, and that monster's unaffected, and you have a 2600 and 2800 beater on board. And then the final card is 1 copy of Fiend's Hand Mirror, which basically redirects the targeting effects of magic cards, which is a very good thing to do. So that's it for the deck. It's 40 cards. It's a very fun, casual deck, and can actually steal many games if you let it. Fielding big monsters like that and then using big plays is a very kind of cool thing you can do to your opponent. If you like the deck profile, please feel free to give this a like. Make sure to comment and subscribe as well. And if you want to see more content just like this and more casual decks, please stick it to Team Time Riders. This has been the Mermail Master with another deck profile, and I'm signing out. See you guys.